Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Rajiv Kamal Kumar from AN Sinha Institute of Social Studies, Patna. Today we will learn the module on travel development programs and welfare schemes from the paper Travel Culture of India. The main learning objectives of this module are to study the travel characteristics and relate them with their situation in India. The second objective of this module is to understand the major problems of travels in India. The third objective is to study the history of travel development in India, the pre-independence and post-independence period, to learn the approaches to travel development and to know the various travel development programs and welfare schemes. As per the census 2011, the tribes of India constitutes around 8.6% of the total Indian population, which has shown gradual increase from 7% in the census year 1971. The growth rate of tribal population is extremely slow as compared to the growth rate of caste population. In some cases, the tribal population remain stagnant or even shown the decrease over the years due to the adverse conditions. Some of the tribal groups, particularly the smaller tribal groups of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, is facing the situation of extinction because of isolation and social detachment over years. The tribals have been deprived of the basic education, skills, development, and growth of the modern world. The concentration of tribes varies in different regions of India. Different tribes are recognized by different economic levels, from the most primitive form of economy of hunting and food gathering to the present day settled agricultural and government jobs. Some of the tribes of India show variability in terms of their language, culture, traditions, beliefs, and customs. There is no universally applicable definition as the tribals differ in their important distinguishing characteristics. Some of the distinct characteristics of tribes are such as territorial affiliation, segmental solidarity, recognition of social distance from other tribes, economic interdependence, use of simple technology as means of production, no surplus generation. The tribals do not have the concept of surplus generation, they only produce for their subsistence. Economic independence and importance of kinship and family relationships among the tribal society. The Indian tribals are divided into different regions, different economies, and different cultures. The tribals are mainly concentrated in the regions of north and northeastern part of the country, central and southern states of India, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The main regions of tribal concentration are North India, Northeast India, Central India, Southern India, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Various tribals are practicing different level of economic activities. The earliest form of economy is hunting and food gathering. Some of the tribes are also engaged in pastoralism, horticulture and shifting cultivation, artisans, and settled agriculture. This does not mean that a single tribe is only practicing any particular type of economic, but sometimes these economic activities are combined, and you can see that some of the tribal communities also practice shifting cultivation along with the collection of minor forest produce. Similarly, the tribals have different cultures. Most of the tribals group share same culture and have simplest form of religion. They have traditions and beliefs and their own system of medicine and ritual practices. So tribal groups differ from one another on these characteristic features. The tribal people are facing some serious problems such as land alienation, as we have learned that most of the tribals are dependent upon their immediate environment for their subsistence and living. Most of these tribals are either without land or having a few acres of land. Some of the land owning tribals Some of the land owning tribals have lost their land due to the development projects and in the process of setting up of industries and factories. Of these, some of the tribals also practice agriculture on the few acres of land they possess. Due to the intrusion from outsiders, the tribals have been alienated from their land. In some parts of the tribal areas, the government has decided to give a few acres of land which are either sterile or fallow lands. These lands too were captured by the caste people in due course of time. Another problem is indebtedness. The poverty is a vicious cycle, and once the tribal fall into the indebtedness, seldom they seldom come out of this. Most of the tribal families are also borrowing money for meeting the expenditure of emergency health conditions or for the social obligations and rituals such as marriage, death, and other social customs. And after due to this borrowing of money, they fall in the trap of indebtedness. Another big problem of the travel is identity crisis, which emerged due to the various changes which are taking place gradually. Some other important problems of travels are their poor education and poor literacy rate as compared to the national average, the problem of unemployment, the problem of displacement and rehabilitation due to the setting up of the projects and industrialization of the tribal areas, lack of health facilities. The tribal areas are mostly devoid of modern day public health facilities, uh, lack of nutrition and hygiene to the tribal people. The term development is a value loaded term and it has a wide connotation. The term development simply refers to the act or instance of developing or being developed. The notion of development in broader sense includes both economic development and socio-cultural change which comes due to the former. It implies different meanings across the different cultures, societies, and geographical regions. In the context of travels, we can see the approaches of development broadly into two periods. The first is the development that took place during pre-independence stage and in which the country has witnessed the rule of British, and the second phase after the independence of the country. During the pre-independence period, the colonial rule have adopted the approach of isolation uh, and uh, the Britishers have used to prevent suffering of the tribals and reducing their exploitation by the money lenders and traders who mainly come from outside. These outsiders were considered as Diku by the tribals of Jharkhand. They used isolationist and ameliorative strategy to strengthen their economy by controlling the forest and by controlling the forest resources and keeping the local tribal population away from the rest of the population. During the post-independence approach, after India's independence, the government of India has acquired a growth-oriented strategy focusing upon the socio-economic upliftment of the tribal communities. Policies, acts, and reservations were made aiming towards the sustainable and equitable development of the nation and its people, irrespective of their position in the social hierarchy. Constitution in 1949 and which was implemented on 26th day of the year 1950, and after that the government of India has made several constitutional provisions and development programs and welfare schemes for the tribals. The tribal development is mainly based on research, ethnographic data, surveys, and right intent and attitude on the part of the government. The change is anticipated from the external agencies like the government and non-government organizations who can in turn motivate the deprived tribal groups and generate awareness and will to accept the positive changes brought about from these development programs and schemes. After independence, the 5-year plans were initiated to frame different strategies based on the contemporary tribal situation, aiming for a suitable growth and development in the succeeding years. Starting from the first 5-year plan in the year 1951, which continued up to 1956, we are at present working on the project goals of the 12th 5-year plan, which is for the year 2012 and 17. As mentioned, the successive 5-year plans have been adopted by the government through which different approaches and strategies for the tribal development was implemented. With this, the government has also introduced several development programs and schemes for the betterment of the tribal brethren. Some of the strategies and programs introduced during the 5-year plans were Community Development Programs (CDP), which was started in the first 5-year plan, creation of 43 special multi-purpose tribal blocks, Food Production and Individual Farm Crop Production Plan (FCPP), special multi-purpose tribal development blocks were introduced during the second 5-year plan, were renamed as tribal development blocks in the third 5-year plan. Special nutrition program and cash employment program, establishment of tribal development agencies. In the next 5-year plan, the tribal sub-plan scheme funded by integrated tribal development approach was started and the concept of growth centers came up. The tribal sub-plan was recommended by the committee chaired by the famous anthropologist Professor S.C. Dubey. The next important approach during the 5-year plan was modified area development approach to cover smaller areas having tribal population. TriFed and NSFDC were also set up in the year 1987 and 1989 respectively. The old plans were continued and attention was given to the socio-economic upliftment of the scheduled tribes. In the next 5-year plans, nothing new has planned but the higher growth rate of economy was aimed. This included the tribal population as well. Before introducing any development program or scheme, the following issues should be taken care of. The first is understanding the relationship between a tribal and his land, because the tribal community has a very strong sense of bonding with their land. Division of the tribal regions based upon the geographical contiguity, common resource potentials, and viable units of development, common needs, and history. The third important issue to be considered while planning tribal development is the resettlement and legal help to the tribals with timely follow-ups, encouraging the participation of tribals in the decision-making process, creating awareness through literacy and technical skill programs. The next is the planners think of sustainable development. The methodology should be focused upon rather than the coverage of area in order to diffuse the benefits of the program to the last individual of the community. The funds should be properly channelized for the better development of tribal areas. The framework of government for the tribal welfare. The fundamental principles of tribal development said by our first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. These principles are also called as Panchsheel, which was drafted in consultation with the then National Tribal Advisor Professor Warrier Elvin. The Panchsheel policy for tribals mentions that the tribal culture and values must be appreciated. Tribal rights in forest land and resources must be respected. Leadership must come from the tribals by giving them guidance, skills, and proper training. Over administration of these areas, that is, tribal areas, with multiplicity of schemes must be avoided. Improvement in quality must be preferred over expenditure and time consumption. The Government of India has formulated different policies and created different institutions for the mainstreaming of tribal societies, such as the National Forest Policy in the year 1988, Project Appraisal Committees, the National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, and Ministry of Tribal Affairs. In addition to these, the Constitution of India has several provisions and safeguards for the development of tribals. The Ministry of Tribal Affairs is the nodal agency for the formulation and implementation of development programs. These institutions and committees were developed over the years gradually after the experience of tribal development administration by the implementers and planners. Now we see these institutions and committees one by one. The first is Ministry of Tribal Affairs. It is a nodal ministry set up in the year 1999 after the bifurcation of the existing Ministry of Social Empowerment and Justice, with the objective of a focused approach for the integrated development of the scheduled tribes in a planned and coordinated manner. Its major responsibilities includes policy, planning, and coordination of the programs for the development of the scheduled tribes. The various activities of ministry under the multi-pronged strategy for the tribes include promotion of education among the tribes, provisions of hostels for the ST girls and boys to reduce the dropouts from the schools and increase the educational attainment of tribes, arrangement of vocational training programs for the scheduled tribe youth to increase employment, introduction of the scheme of pre-matric scholarship and post-matric scholarship for the needy students belonging to tribal communities, arrangement of health facilities, upliftment of ST women, promotion of inclusive growth of tribals for improving their socio-economic status, development of infrastructure in the tribal areas, improving their livelihood and housing, provisions of basic facilities such as electricity, irrigation, and market development, protection of legal rights of scheduled tribes, and protection and promotion of tribal culture and heritage. So, these are some of the important activities undertaken by the nodal agency for tribal development, that is Ministry of Tribal Affairs. The Constitution of India has assured certain provisions to the marginalized section of the society, including the scheduled tribes. The sixth schedule of the Constitution mentions establishment of district councils and regional councils to help manage forest land and resources, regulate the practices of shifting cultivation, to appoint tribal chiefs, help in inheritance, marriage, and social issues, and control of money lending and trading in tribal areas. The Article 332 of the Constitution of India permits reservation of the seats in the state legislative assemblies for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. In addition to these, the Constitution of India also assures or guarantees to the tribals their recognition, creation of scheduled areas, special representation in the parliament and legislative assemblies, reservation of seats in education and government services, right to use their local language and dialect, etc. National Commission for Scheduled Tribe was started in February 2004 with the headquarters located in New Delhi, realizing that the needs and problems of scheduled tribes differed from those of the scheduled caste, and a different treatment must be given to the scheduled tribes and scheduled caste for their development and grievance redressal. NCST, that is National Commission for Scheduled Tribe, is aimed at taking measures related to ownership of the MFP minor forest produce, safeguarding tribals' rights over mineral, water, and other natural resources, development of their livelihood strategies, improvement in their relief and rehabilitation work, prevention of land alienation, involvement of tribals in decision making, and to reduce the ultimate eliminate the practice of shifting cultivation by tribals to prevent degradation of land and their environment. In addition to the above provisions, it also has the National Forest Policy 1988, which recommend that at least 33.33% of the total area of the country should be forest area, and at least 60% of the total forest must be preserved at any point of time in the tribal dominated area. So the forest should be 33.3% and the forest area in the tribal regions must be 60%. A project appraisal committee headed by the Secretary, Tribal Affairs, representatives of state governments, planning commission, etc. is framed to assess and approve the proposals for allocating to different schemes of the ministry, thus helping in processing communication, transparency, and optimal distribution of the limited capital between the center and state. The micro-project agencies have been encouraged in states for addressing development of tribal groups in both integrated tribal development areas and non-integrated tribal development areas. Now we can see the major development schemes and plans of change introduced by the government over the years. The major schemes include conservation cum development plans, development of particularly vulnerable tribal groups which were earlier previously known as primitive tribal groups or PTG, for the exclusive development of the PVTGs, which have been identified as 75 in number in 18 states and one Union Territory of India. A central sector scheme for exclusive development of the PTGs was started in the year 1998 and 99. The major activities under it include housing, land distribution and development, agricultural development, cattle development, construction of link roads, social security through Jan Shri Bima Yojana, etc. have been started under this CCD plans. The Central Sector Scheme for Education has the provisions for National Overseas Scholarship Scheme, Rajiv Gandhi National Fellowship for Scheduled Tribe Students, strengthening education among scheduled tribe girls in low literacy districts, establishment of ashram schools for scheduled tribes in tribal subplan areas, a club model residential schools. These schemes are entirely funded by the central government, and that is why these are called central sector scheme. There are central sector schemes for employment such as One Bandhu Kalyan Yojana, vocational training centers in tribal areas, mechanism for minor forest produce through minimum support price and development of value chain for minor forest produces. There are central sector schemes for trade and livelihood for the tribals, such as institutional support for development and marketing of tribal produce, World Bank projects improving development programs in the tribal areas, support to national, state, scheduled tribes finance and development corporations, grant in aid to state tribal development corporations (STDC) for minor forest produce operations. Tribal Cooperative Marketing Development Federation of India Limited (TriFed). These central sector schemes provide help to voluntary organizations working for the tribal welfare and development by the way of providing grant in aid to NGOs for scheduled tribes, including coaching and allied schemes and awards for exemplary services, grant in aid to voluntary organizations working for the welfare of scheduled tribes, and also provide support for research, information, and mass education and travel festival and other related programs for tribal development. National Scheduled Tribe Finance Development Corporation has different schemes such as Adivasi Mahila Sashaktikran Yojana. This scheme is especially designed to address the problems of lack of economic development of the scheduled tribe women. Under this scheme, NSTFDC provides loan up to 90% of the scheme and costing up to rupees 1 lakh at highly concessional interest rate of 4% per annum. The second scheme is Term Loan Scheme. NSTFDC provides term loan costing up to rupees 10 lakh per unit for viable schemes and provides financial assistance of up to 90% of the total cost of the scheme, and the balance is made by the way of subsidy or promoters' contribution or margin money. Microcredit scheme under National Scheduled Tribes Finance and Development Corporation provides especially for the self-help groups for meeting their small loan requirements up to rupees 50,000 per member and rupees 5 lakh per self-help group. Adivasi Shiksha Rin Yojana is an educational loan scheme for the scheduled tribe students to help them meet the expenditures of their technical and professional education in India. Under this scheme, a financial assistance of up to rupees 5 lakh is provided by the corporation at concessional interest rate of 6% per annum. The next scheme under National Scheduled Tribe Finance and Development Corporation is Tribal Forest Dwellers Employment Scheme, which is designed to create awareness, provide training to the beneficiaries, give concessional financial assistance, and assist in market linkages to the scheduled tribe forest dwellers vested land rights under Forest Right Act 2006. The last scheme under NSTFDC is assistance to the TriFed impaneled artisans. TriFed used to impanel the tribal artisans. Under this scheme, concessional finance of rupees up to rupees 50,000 for individuals and up to rupees 5 lakh per SHG cooperative society at interest rate of 4% per annum for the scheduled tribe women and 6% per annum for others to tribal assistant artisans impaneled with TriFed for the purchase of project related assets and working capital. So students, let us summarize what we have learnt in this module. We have discussed that the tribals are the original inhabitants and an integral part of the country. However, they have been living in the country since time immemorial, but they are lagging far behind in the development as compared to the rest of the non-tribal population. During the colonial rule, they have been first studied by a few administrators, planners, ethnographers, and ethnographers mainly for the purpose of administration. Their approach was largely of isolation of the tribals from the mainstream to avoid any exploitation by the outsiders. Later, after the independence, the Free India has adopted a constitution making provisions of development and welfare of the tribals. The policy of cautious intervention and tribal integration with the mainstream development was adopted by the Government of India. Through successive 5-year plans, a lot of development programs and schemes have been introduced by the Government of India. The first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, with the then National Tribal Advisor Professor Very Elvin, also came up with the 5 principles of tribal development. Later on, several specific strategies of tribal development such as Tribal Subplan, Integrated Tribal Development Programs, TSP, MARDA, etc. have been adopted under the guidance of different anthropologists such as Professor B.S. Guha, Warrior Elvin, Professor S.C. Dubey, and L.P. Vidyarthi. In addition to this, there are other development programs and schemes which are also meant for the tribals that have been implemented. The government has taken a lot of initiatives and efforts, but still a lot need to be done for mainstreaming the tribal development. Thank you.